Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, more information. The latest information on the Sunspot Observatory closure, the mysterious closure, as well as a fleet of UFOs have been filmed. And I'm going to share the Facebook link to the lady that actually took a picture of what looks like hundreds of enormous craft, meteorites, asteroids. It could be swamp gas. It could be a reflection of swamp gas, but it's incredible to say the least. And she took it with I think it was an iPhone 8. Also, I want to share with you, I'm going to debunk the conspiracies about 6 closures of observatories, 6 observatory closures. Thank goodness for that, because if 6 observatories did close down at once, I would definitely be even more alarmed. I wouldn't be scared, but I would definitely be more prepared in that case. But I do want to share some information from Ransom that went out there. I'm going to show some pictures. I'm going to show some anomalies that show on the other side. Okay, so the sun, the radiation you're seeing, it's hitting the planet this way. And then in the opposite direction, you're seeing this weird anomaly with the magnetosphere. It's bizarre. I mean, I have no idea what it is, but it looks like 2 types of radiation. It looks like radiation starting to come in from the other side as well. And then I've also got footage of, on the last video that I did, go back and watch. I know that some people said the audio was pretty bad, but if you turn it up, or even on my laptop, I've got it turned up and I can hear it. I apologize about that. The gremlins came out on that one. So hopefully my audio is good. Now, how is the audio now? Let me just double check. Audio good? I want to say thank you, Jacob, for hitting that super chat. Folks, if you haven't seen Jacob Israel's YouTube channel, if you are new to Leak Project, or if you've never been there, just type that in YouTube. Some excellent podcasts. He's been on the program before. Hopefully you'll come on again. But when Ransom, and also somebody else hit that super chat, so thank you very much. Very appreciative of that. Holy cow, wow, that was a monster super chat. Somebody just hit $1 million. I'd like to thank you for donating $1 million. Well, I mean, it feels like $1 million bucks. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I don't even know who did that. Who was that? Paul. Thank you, Paul, for that. Okay, let's get started before everybody checks out here now. First of all, the smell, this weird smell in the buildings around the area that Ransom said he noticed when he got there. He said it kind of spooked him out, but he felt like they cleaned something up, which is interesting. Also, how bizarre is this? There was an X-Files episode left in the trash. Okay, let me show this to you right now. Let's just look at it, okay? Let's just go here. Hold on, I've got like 7 screens pulled up. Where is, oh my goodness. This is crazy. Got so many screens, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Here it is. Okay. Where's it at? Yes, this is it. This is the first screen I wanna share with you. And then I'm going to share with you the UFO screen, which is bizarre. Okay, so you see this? This is directly from ISWA. I'll leave the link in the video description box. This is showing these weird anomalies on the opposite side of the planet where you've got the sun going the opposite direction. Okay, so let's start. And this is on the 10th when this happens. It's very bizarre. Here we go. Just go ahead and watch this. We'll just look at it. Here we go. It's going to start getting really strange here in just a minute. Each flash is, it's like a subliminal hypnotic flash telling you that you want to become a premium member at leakproject.com. It just does it automatically. Right there. Boom. You see that? Right there. That's it. See that? I mean, that's what in the world is that? So this is on the 10th. This is on the 10th at 6:04 Universal Time. This bizarre anomaly. And I have no explanation for that. Does anybody have an explanation for this thing? And then if you go to another part of the site that gives you a chance to look at another graph, another charts. This is another one. And you can see both hemispheres seem to be getting substantial amounts of radiation. Now, some people say that this actually could be more along the lines of swamp gas from humans, from too much swamp gas from humans, because they flatulate too much, they eat too much, they consume too much. Their carbon footprint is just way too difficult on the environment. And it's really Bob's fault. So it's not your fault. It's all Bob's fault because he's a consumer. But you can see that because of the flatulence, there are substantial amounts of radiation in both sides, both hemispheres here. And this is interesting. If you go to UFO sightings, hotspots, blogspot, it has known that there's 6 more solar observatories that have become closed. Australia, Chile, Spain, Hawaii, and 2 in Pennsylvania. Well, is that true? Before I get there, though, the X-Files, unrestricted. Wow, this is the super chat. I'm going to be able to go to Sizzler. If I can find one, do they still exist? I haven't left the garage here for a while, so I'm just saying. All right, the X-Files, unrestricted access. Ransom, when he's out there scoping the area, he gets a picture of the X-Files unrestricted access in the garbage can for everybody out there to see. When he gets there, the sheriff, he said there's a sheriff, there's law enforcement there scoping out a car that's in front of his, and the car in front of him is abandoned. The only other people there found out about it listening to Leak Project. One person's got a drone. The other person is asking questions, taking pictures that he saw. And I want to thank everybody that sent me the footage. I appreciate that. And also, the interesting thing was, though, that he said the law enforcement walked up, said, he didn't even say anything, just looked at the car, probably checked the plates, and then left. So no big deal. And so they're scoping around the area, they're checking it out. And one of the garbage cans, and I'm going to show you the picture in a minute, and I'll leave the link to Ransom's video. You can actually watch the video on his YouTube channel. And somebody sent him some footage that they took as well. That's available on his YouTube channel. So feel free to click that link and watch that. But the X-Files unrestricted access, this is a video game from 1997. Now, how cliche, how bizarre. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's like they planted an X-Files episode there just to freaking, really? Is there a new X-Files episode coming out, or is there a secret? Is there like a key that somebody was giving us by leaving this episode there? Is this like an X-Files episode? Are there ETs involved? Well, wait till you see this footage that somebody was able to take from their iPhone. How incredible is that? From their iPhone, for goodness sakes. So that makes me think that if somebody can take pictures of giant UFOs from their iPhone with a certain flare, a certain film, certain screen to change the color, the infrared spectrum or whatever, or pick up a different part of the spectrum, it makes me think that they would close down every observatory on the planet. The one thing that Gil Broussard makes a lot of sense, and I certainly don't know if I agree in his hypothesis of the cataclysms that he has connected, but hey, he could be right. There could be some, I really respect his work, and he definitely does his homework, and he definitely has connected scriptures and timelines and civilization cataclysms to this return of a binary star or some type of planet X. I think he calls it planet 7X. And this, when I show you, let's go back and look at this here. Let's look at this footage, or not this footage, this animation. There's this bizarre magnetic interference, the bizarre sunsets that we're getting right now, that the sunsets are just dual sunsets. And yes, the light spectrum, I can see how it's cooling off, and as it's going over the planet, it's going to change colors. Plus, with all the manipulation that's done with the stratospheric aerosol injection, solar radiation management, with the pollution, with all the smoke from the forest fires, and who knows what else is going on out there. I can definitely see how it could just be from the sun. That's certainly a very strong possibility. Although, let's think about all these ancient texts and all these stories and connecting points of a binary star that go back thousands of years, of a nemesis, of a destroyer, of wormwood. And let's go ahead now and look at some of these. I want to show you some of these pictures that I've got. Where is that here? All right. So hold on a second. Change the screen share here. Boom. We just look at it. So this is an image that was taken from this wonderful lady that even put it on the Facebook page. And I just watched some work that she did on Facebook. She had a live link. And this is very interesting because, and I'm going to give her name and everything in just a minute. So I just want to say thank you very much for this. But look at all these weird anomalies that are going into the sun, or are they leaving the sun? Or, I mean, you know what it looks like to me? I mean, it reminds me of a macro version of when you watch animation of sperm cells hitting the egg. Well, there's the egg, there's the sperm cell. These are cosmic. I mean, these are giant spermies. I'm joking, but it's bizarre, right? I mean, it's just weird, whatever it is. And then check. And so I'm going to leave the link so you can check out the Facebook page. And you know, full credit to the wonderful lady that took that picture and has this footage on her Facebook page. So great job. Thank you so much. I mean, it's people like that. It's people like you that the world needs to share this kind of information, because obviously the official disclosure will probably never happen. I don't see it ever happening. And if it does, it's going to be controlled narrative all the way. But check this out, will you? So Ransom took a picture of this. The X-Files, unrestricted access. Here's a picture just right in the garbage for everybody to see that goes there. I mean, how strange is that? I think that's pretty wild. So let's take a look at this. This was the sunset, and this was this last night? Yeah, I think this was last night. And this is you would think that this is to the west, right? You would think that the sun is setting to the west. Think that this is the sunset. Well, it's not. This is to the east. This is the sunset right here. I mean, this is the sunset. And I did not see any stratospheric aerosol injections that day. The skies were, as blue as they're going to get for now. They're not that dark, rich blue that they used to be. It's not nearly as rich, but it's been very blue. The skies have been very blue here in Colorado, in southern Colorado. And as the sun was setting, you can see that. And I even took I took a screenshot of this image. And then what I did is I adjusted it just a little bit to give you more of an idea. So you can see there's the sun. And if you look again, and just go back here, you can see the outline. And I use a Samsung Note 8 camera for this. It's a good camera for what it is. It's not anything professional, but you've got the sunset, and this was a little bit more orange to the naked eye for me. So then you see here's the sunset. Okay, yeah, I get it. That makes sense. But what about this? On the opposite hemisphere, the opposite side, you've got this just beautiful reddish purple, and it's like this on a regular basis now. And I'm watching them kind of merge together and then kind of separate. So is this from another planetary object? Is this from another star? Is this the dark star? Is this the nemesis that we're seeing here? Gil has said when this becomes, and I think you might be right on this, Gil has brought up before that he feels when it's spotted, when they know it's going to get closer, that they're going to shut down all communications and possibilities, because if anybody gets a picture of this, gets access to this, an actual returning destroyer, it would just freak out the population. But let me add to that, though. If they shut down the internet, it's going to freak out the population. I mean, people freak out if they can't get on their social media site. I mean, so I would say that they would probably be less freaked out if they saw a star incoming, because at least they could zombify themselves in their phones. Like, do you remember when they had that craze when people were walking around playing on their phones and like running into traffic, falling over cliff sides because they just weren't paying attention? They were playing some video game. It was like, oh, you get this upgrade if you walk over here. I remember seeing people in the park one day when I lived in San Antonio, and they were in their cars on their phones. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they were getting points or something for some weird game. And I'm just like, wow. Act, zombie alert. Now, this is right here, a picture of the facility. The picture. I'm drinking some super tea. I'm drinking super tea and coffee right now. Super tea and coffee. It's an excellent combo for me. Now, I mean, if it's just you may want to stick with one or the other, like super tea or coffee. But I've got work to do. All right. So I'm just saying. Now, this is the facility. This is the outside. And you can see you've got this caution tape there. Caution. Well, what are you cautioning people from? I mean, what it's like, it doesn't say stop. It doesn't say do not enter. It doesn't say no. It doesn't say private property. It just says caution. Oh, okay. Watch your step. There's a pothole. Oh, yeah. Now let's, if you look at the facility and the grounds, looks like it's been well kept. I mean, definitely upkept nicely. The facilities out there, nice. The homes are nice. The lodging's nice, etc. This is the fire station. Looks like a nice fire station. Even the truck, although it's probably, I don't know, maybe 30 years old, 27 years old approximately. I mean, it's a little bit older than my Astrovan, than Frankenstein. Look at how good of shape that thing's in. I mean, you can just tell it's well kept. Things are good. And then it's, the houses, the grounds, everything's nice. Everything's, wonderful. And then all of a sudden, poof, God, the whole town's gone. Where'd everybody go? What's going on? You can go in, you can walk around, you can explore, or can you? Maybe you can't. There's a caution tape that says caution. So you better not, right? Because there's a caution tape. So no, you can't. Or can you? It's for residents only. So no, you can't. It's residents only. You have to be a resident. See, that answers the question right there. Residents only. Now, where do the residents go? What happened to them? Why is the post office closed? Why is there an X-Files game in the trash from 1997? Somebody's got to look into that game. Somebody's got to bust out that game and find the codes in there, because there could be some gems, some just incredible information there. I mean, you got satellites that are like from the 90s. I mean, it's a nice, quaint little town. It's like Wayward Pines. Holy crap. Wayward Pines, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. Wayward Pines. Stephen King was right again. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. My mind just got totally expanded. Bang! Wayward Pines. So it's an experiment where these people get abducted by the government. Now, folks, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Okay, this is entertainment news. So now we're just having a little bit of fun here. But what if this is some type of Wayward Pines program where the whole town, like, does anybody know people that live there? Where do they go to school? Do they have college degrees? Where do they go to college? What do their families do? Where do they come from? How long have they been there? Do they come from somewhere else? I mean, aren't these just questions people ask, or is it like you're not supposed to ask questions anymore? You just be like, give TV, give me more of that genetically modified E. coli feces, please. I mean, you're not supposed to know, right? You're not supposed to question these things. They want you to be, they do not want you to be intelligent enough to at least ask these questions, because they're like, that person's thinking for themselves. We're giving them the truth, and they're oh my, it's like, anyway, all right, I'm digressing. I'll stop. I don't have, hold on a second. Should I get the whole tinfoil sombrero on? Like, this is full tinfoils. This is full on tinfoil status. Tinfoil leak project style. So there you go. There's another picture. Will you just look at it? They were going to close it last year. They were going to move it over to Boulder, Colorado. And then now you've got this. Or is this just like a big April Fool's joke? Or is it April? It's not April, is it? No, it's not April. That was 5 months ago. It's a late April Fool's Day joke is what it is. It's an early April Fool's Day joke. It's a September Day Fool's joke. Or something. I mean, have you wondered if maybe, okay, so there's a lot of people that are speculating that there was something that they spotted there. and they spotted something that they weren't supposed to. So if they spotted something they weren't supposed to, and they told the whole town, and so everybody knew about it. I mean, it's very interesting, but thank goodness they love us so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness that they have our best interests at heart, and it's nothing to worry about. There's plenty of stuff to watch on TV, and there's plenty of numbing information that you can just go ahead and turn on. But what I find interesting, when I was showing you those currents before, those weird currents, I'm thinking about the electric universe. And things are running smooth, things are running fluid, then all of a sudden it's like, does anybody know what that is? I mean, can anybody read those charts and show the audience and myself how to read those charts so that we can pull them up? Because there's so much data we can actually find ourselves. We just have to know how to read it and have to know how to process it. And once you figure it out, hey, you learned how to fish. That's awesome. You don't need somebody bringing you the fish all the time. It's nice to have somebody bring you a nice gourmet meal, that wonderful, fresh caught Atlantic salmon. You may want to stay away from the Pacific stuff, but you get, whatever. And it's presented in a very nice, they make it really good. It's blackened. You've got all the sides with it. It's just delicious. I get it. But then there are those times where you're just like, you know what? I want to go catch the fish myself. And if you know how to fish, it's like, great. But then you've got people that don't even know how to fish. There's people in the future, you're going to see somebody that's fishing, and it's going to be so out of the environment, the average norm, and people aren't going to see they're going to like call him in as a terrorist. They're like, this person's doing something, man. He's throwing something in the lake, man. He's a terrorist. They're like, he's fishing. Yes, get him. You will only eat factory farmed fish from us. You must pay your fee and do as you're told. So now the FBI showing up is odd. The sheriff says, hey, I don't know what's going on. The FBI's got all these different antennas popping around, mobile antenna systems and stuff. And they're like, nope, nothing. It's all right. Then you've got this whole conspiracy about China tapping in. And it is in a very interesting location by the White Sands as well as Roswell, New Mexico. Oh, and there's also, if I go back to the 10th on the solar Observatory, there's this one specific link that I've got, and I'll see if I can find it in a minute if I remember, that everything's fine. It's in a blue screen, and the sun, it's showing the sun and everything's good. And then when it's the 10th, you only see like a little sliver of the sun. The rest of it just goes blank. And you can see that in the last podcast that I did. So there's a lot of people that said they couldn't hear what I was saying. Well, once again, I don't know what you are listening on. I know a lot of mobile devices you can't hear very well, and a lot of people said they had hearing aids, but I've got just a laptop and I've got it turned up all the way and I could hear it okay. Yes, it was quiet, but if you go back and watch that, you'll see which part I'm talking about, where you're watching everything rotate, everything's good, and then all of a sudden it just gone. Or not rotate, you're just seeing everything's good, and all of a sudden it disappears. It's not there anymore. But there's a little bit of it there. So I'm questioning that as if, was it an equipment failure, an equipment situation where the way things move at a specific point, it has to reset and calibrate, so that specific scene is taken out. There's a whole lot of things that I question about that. But wow, wasn't that UFO picture just awesome? I mean, have you seen anything that cool coming in or out of the sun? And that makes me think of this whole as above, so below situation. When somebody says as above, so below, it doesn't mean that they worship the devil. It doesn't mean that they go outside at night and dance with wolves and summon the evil spirits and the sylphs from the Dark Lord. No, it's completely, it's a way to describe, I mean, some of them might, I don't know, but it's a way to describe the bigger picture. What you see, it's the macrocosm. It's when you see something great in the heavens, especially the ancients, they looked at these anomalies in the heavens and the planets and the stars and the way that they moved, and they were able to describe them in these scenes and these storylines. And most religion comes from astrotheology anyway. I mean, I am just astonished at how ignorant some people are. And I mean this in the utmost respect. When I say ignorant, I mean uninformed. I don't mean anything more than that. I mean uninformed, uneducated in certain topics when they describe what they think of as something being evil or something being demonic or satanic or Luciferian. And then you can get into those topics anyway and say, well, what is the description of satanic to you? What does that mean to you? What is the description of Luciferian to you? What does that mean to you? And then you can get into the Latin root, and then you can get into the English language and how things have been manipulated and twisted. And then you can get into the control of the church and how they've skewed things all the way back to connecting these planetary alignments and these seasons and creating characters and a storyline to say, oh, that was a person. You need to worship that person when it is connected. Anyway, it's a whole other podcast. It's just fascinating. And hopefully people will start to learn the bigger picture, because once you learn the bigger picture and you break out of that paradigm, you feel just a whole lot better because you get more. Every day you wake up, you're not as closed in. And you'll see things that start to present themselves when you open your mind to the possibility of what you were taught about the simulation, about the creation, is more of a simulation that you can interact with and you can help co-create. Doesn't mean you're the only creator. It means you're helping create a part of your existence. Your thought is a part of existence. Each time you think something, you are creating a new memory, a new synapse. And the universe grows every time you think something. How cool is that? Even though it's not a new thought, it's a little bit different because everything you've thought before has been thought before by somebody else. I get it, but it's just a little bit different. So anyway, let's see if I got anything else here. Wow, holy cow. Oh my goodness. I just jumped into the chat here and I might even be able to take a day off with all the super chats. Thank you so much, everybody, for hitting all these super chats. This is incredible. Let me see who's doing that. I've got to hold down the screen here. Paul, you're the man. Paul, you are the man. Hope to see you at Disclosure Con, everybody. That's coming up here soon. That's going to be coming up in October 5th, 6th, and 7th, Pine Top, Arizona. There's going to be some huge names there. Huge names. I'm going to be a small fish in a big pond there. Excited about that. But I might actually jump out of the pond and go fly around for a little bit. See if I got any other information here. Yeah. So wouldn't you think that if they did spot a UFO, or if they did spot some type of incoming craft, incoming meteorite, asteroid, near Earth object, if they picked up, I mean, because instead of just thinking Planet X, Nemesis, Wormwood, binary star, etc., it might even make more sense that maybe they spotted something that was like a near Earth object, some type of asteroid, something that was just, and then you're like, uh-oh, and you better not talk about this. Someone's like, I want to talk about it. I want to tell all my friends. I want to tell everybody about it. I'm so excited. This is so cool. And they're like, nope, you better not say anything. Come on, man. I got to tell people. I'm excited. And they might, I mean, so they're like, all right. I mean, you have seen that one movie, right? I'm just saying, though, it's just a movie. Thank goodness. It's just a movie. But wait a second. I mean, this is kind of like, anyway, that's a whole other podcast. And let's see if I got anything else. Oh, yeah, the observatories. The observatories. That's what I didn't talk to you about yet. There are many people that are concerned about the 6 observatories that are closed. They're not even observatories. They're webcams. Yeah, let me read this off. This one's kind of funny because this is, first of all, they're like six webcam, or no, 6 observatories around the world are closed down. They're these observatories and they're closed. No, they're not observatories. First of all, the first one is the Axis 232D network dome camera, which is located, it's a network dome camera, that's pointing at the sky, and it's in Sydney, Australia. Well, guess what? The 232D camera, it's like got an 18 digital zoom, an 18 times digital zoom. It's got a plastic dome around it. I wouldn't say that's the best thing to use for astrophotography or for any type of definitive evidence that you found some type of, I mean, unless the thing's so dang big that it's just sitting there, and it's not like this see-through lens flare that's what you're picking up as a reflection off of the dome and the camera, where you're seeing this big reflection and it looks like a giant planet that's see-through, and you're like, oh my gosh, this giant planet's right in front of me, but it's see-through. How do they do that? It's the dome around this. It's the dome. It's the webcam, and also this network dome camera that is supposed to be an observatory that's closed down. It's discontinued, so they don't make them anymore. Sorry. Hate to tell you the good news. Actually, I'm glad to tell you the good news. I think that's good news. And I think it's good news that they haven't shut down all the observatories around the world. Don't you? Here's the next one. Webcams located at SOAR Observatory. Webcams, not the observatory, webcams located at the SOAR Observatory, the Southern Astrophysical Research Telescope located in Chile. Well, guess what? Every webcam that I visited was available. You could look at it. And folks, if they're shutting out webcams, I mean, if you really think that webcam was closed, and this, I'm not being rude. I'm just thinking logically for a minute, and I usually don't even think logically. Actually, I do. It's weird. One side of my brain is always the logical engineering. Okay, break it down, nuts and bolts. How do you do it? Put it together. Look at the charts. Look at the white papers. Look at the research. And then the other side is like, wow, look at the abstract. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the possibilities. What could you do with that? Yeah, you could turn that into some type of nanotech that would then transmutate the frequency of that person's cerebral cortex into a vibrant wormhole that could then transform that person and take them to other parts of the universe. You know, you just got these two, and then they're going back and forth. And anyway, so you guys probably, and gals probably have the same thing. I know you do. So anyway, where was I going with this? Man, this super tea is awesome. We should get some. Did I even tell you about this super tea? It's so good. I get it from getthetea.com. I love it. It's like a detox tea too. So good. So yeah, so the webcam is up, it's running, it's good. There's a bunch of webcams there you can go to and look at. There's a whole bunch of them. I mean, it's not just one. And then the next observatory that is supposedly closed down is the BRT Tenerife telescope webcam, and it's located in Spain. Well, I went there today, and on the previous podcast that I did, it's just fine. You can go there yourself. You can look at it for yourself. And then you might say, well, man, they shut down all the webcams at once because it was right there. These webcams are not going to pick anything up, is what I'm saying. I mean, it's like you're looking at these incredible reflections. You're like, wow, look at that reflection, man. That's huge. Thing is massive. And I'm not even being rude here. That's what it is. Every one that I have seen, that's what it's been. And you know what? I'm getting all sorts of pictures. So people are sending me just ridiculous amounts of pictures. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And I wish the gal that took these pictures of the UFOs that I showed you, I wish she would have sent me some pictures, because that thing is awesome. That thing is incredible. Her name is Maria Hill, and she's I've got her Facebook link in the description box. Maria Hill, Salem, Indiana. Just click the link if you want to check it out. She even did a live. She just did a live video. She said that she's got so many friends that request that she right now is having a tough time accepting them all, because and I get it totally. So she wrote on her Facebook page on September 11th. That this is what showed up on my camera after I took a picture of the sun in the eastern sky this morning with an iPhone 8 with a camera lens adapter. So I want to go back and talk about that when you see these things flying around the sun. And then also I went back to the 10th, and then there were some interesting anomalies in the 10th. And then there was that I told you that blackout for a minute. Like I said, it could have been an equipment situation where it just does that every X amount of hours because of the way that it rotates. But this is all very interesting information. And I was told that this story got picked up via mainstream. So they're asking questions as well. And that X-Files episode left in the trash, or the X-Files video game from '97. I hope somebody's played that all the way through, because it's like it's got the first 4 seasons of storylines kind of put into that video game. So thank you, Gina. Thank you for thank you for taking those pictures. Thank you very much, and sharing those with the world. And I do want to thank everybody that sent me pictures, but a lot of these other pictures that I've got from people are just, I mean, I'm like, and they're saying, hey, this is a giant eyeball in the sky, and look at the 4 demons behind the giant eyeball, and the cloud people are moving, and they're eating the chemtrails. The chemtrails are food for the cloud people. And you think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. And I mean, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And hey, I'm crazy too. I get it. So I just hope that you have at least a sane side that can question that, because I've seen some of these pictures. So many pictures are just like, wow. And like, look, see those 14 demons? They're hanging out with leprechauns over there. And then there's that giant holographic pot of gold. And then you can see the reptilian shapeshifters hanging out. And you're a Luciferian because you went to Gaia TV, man. You're worshiping the devil. Did you know that? Because they worship the devil over there. It's like, whoa, holy cow. I mean, I read that David Wilcox letter, and first of all, I've never watched David's work, and I don't know who he is. So, hey, good. I know who he is. I've just never seen his work, and I appreciate everybody's opinion, right? I totally appreciate everybody's opinion. And I read his letter that he wrote, which is supposedly making, linking Gaia to being Luciferian. And I was just like, wow, okay. You should read the letter. That's all I have to say. Read the letter, and you'll be, and really think about it when you read the letter, and then question what's asked in that letter, and then question, like, actually go there and meet the people that work there. Because I met most people that worked there, and they were very friendly, extremely open-minded. It was like a lot of younger crowd, I would say. They very eclectic in my opinion, and it was nothing bizarre at all. If anything, my goodness, you go in there and there's these like enormous crystals that are just emitting this awesome energy. But I guess if you think crystals are cool, you're a New Age Luciferian too, right? You worship the devil if you have a crystal, probably. People are like, man, why do you have an eyeball? Why do you have an all-seeing eye on your hat, man? You know what that is? You know what that is, right? This isn't the all-seeing eye, and I've described what this is many times, what the eye in the hand represents. But if you actually knew what it represented, it's quite the opposite of a nefarious entity that is the all-seeing eye. But it's just very fascinating, the mindset of people. Oh, you've got an all-seeing eye on your hat, man. You're a Luciferian. Well, you got 2 eyeballs in your head, man. That means you got 2 devils running around in there. So I hope you don't take the advice of the Bible and pluck them out if you see something that you're not supposed to think about, after you have a bad thought or something like that. Because doesn't the Bible say if you have a thought that, anyway, I'm just not going to get in there. But see, once again, you can look at that information, and I have read the Bible from front to back. Great information, a lot of wonderful data in there. And the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's interesting how much different they are. But then I've actually been able to break down the stories that were translated from Hebrew and Greek from the Old Testament, the New Testament, into ancient Sumerian tablets and cuneiform translations that are almost identical, where you've got the same characters with different names. And then you can even connect some of these stories before to the Errata civilization, which was pre-Sumerian civilization. And it just makes you question everything. Like there's this comment that I read today, man, you're going to go hang out with your Satanist friends at Gaia TV? Well, first of all, no, I'm not going to go hang out with my Satanist friends at Gaia TV. I'm agnostic, which means I don't know. I'm also Gnostic, which means I want to know. And I'm also not going to title myself as anything, because if you put a topic on yourself, then you're labeling yourself as something, and you're compartmentalizing yourself as something, and then you're taking away from the greater bliss of opportunities of everything. Like, for example, do you really think God is, if God is all seeing, if God is everything, if God knows everything, and you read the Bible, especially the Old Testament, some of these stories about how God tells his people to go destroy entire civilizations and even everything that's crawling. And then people say, oh, it's the Nephilim, they're giants, they're having sex with everything and evil thoughts, so they got mad, it's all bad, man. Well, I mean, even like the stuff crawling around on the ground, really? And they're Nephilim too. And then it's like, okay, well, and I've tried to look at both sides of that. Well, maybe if we're the original artificial intelligence, right? If we were originally created for the gods to do their work, and then they saw us doing things they didn't want us to do, And maybe there were some rebellious ones who are like, what do we do? Let's just start over. Heck, we don't even have to do anything because we know about this giant planet that's coming back in a few years. And we know about this grand solar minimum. So maybe they just already knew what was going to happen. I mean, but if you read about these stories, it was a lot more barbaric, at least in the stories. And then you might think, okay, well, that could be the case. Or maybe it is describing more of a being or beings that thought they were God or felt that they were God, or they were creators, demigods, but not the ultimate divine. And me just saying that, you might label me as a demonic, satanic Luciferian because I question the description of God in the Bible. But guess what? The Elohim is plural. The Elohim is multiple gods. And then you can read about other stories in scriptures that have been completely suppressed and virtually wiped out and hidden for hundreds of years that correlate these stories but have a completely different spin about the characters. And it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. I'm going to drink some coffee here real quick. But I want to go back even, the reason I'm talking about these scriptures and such is because a lot of these stories even describe the nemesis or the destroyer, or even if you get into the Vedas. I've had Sheldon Cooper on the show, and he describes how these golden ages and these rise and fall of civilizations are connected to sun cycles. I've had some awesome guests on the show recently describing the grand solar minimum, which I feel that sun cycles are heavily influential on our planet and others. Absolutely. And they also influence who we are, what we do, how we do it. It's like when you're born, the time you're born in this electric universe, that's an imprint in the cosmos. You are created at a specific time, and all these frequencies that are lined up with these planets and stars help create you through the divine, the spark, the all-spark. And I'm kind of ranting on other things right now, but we talked about the main topics here for a good amount of time. When I say we, it's because you're here with me. And is anybody still here? Holy cow! Yeah, we've got a good sized crowd here. We've got a nice crowd. And let me see if we have any. I haven't even had a chance to look at the chat for some time. So let me pull this up here real quick. See, because I find, first of all, I think that the Bible, the Holy Bible, there's some wonderful information in there. And I think that, for example, when you read the New Testament and the description of Jesus, it's, I feel, astrotheology connected to maybe, like Yahshua. I've heard about Yahshua, actually a being that, a person that walked the earth that was a rebel and did a lot of the things that were described in the New Testament. But if you look at the birth date and the timelines and the 12 disciples and when it was written and who decided to allow it to be written, and then you look at the church, you look at King James and all the control and the connections there and how these books were compiled and put together to make people have a certain idea on reality when they could be hiding truth in plain sight. And they can also be putting these mysteries that are for people that are connected to mystery schools and societies in plain sight. So the only way you're going to find it is if you can use your own intuition and find it yourself and research it yourself, or connect to one of these societies and say, okay, yes, I'll pay my dues, man. What are you going to upgrade me to now? So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I think that Jesus described in the New Testament is amazing. For example, where's that part where Jesus is hanging out with what you might call the rebellious type? And there was that one prostitute that was going to get stoned. And they're like, oh man, we're going to, and not like Colorado stoned. Okay. We're talking old school stoned. You don't want to get stoned like that. And either way, it's really bad. Let me tell you. What? So this, they're like, oh yeah, man, she's a prostitute. Get her. And Jesus is like, wait a second. You're telling me none of you have ever sinned before? Show me one of you come up here that has never sinned before. And then you can go ahead and cast that stone. And they're all like, oh, well, wait a second, man. We sin all the time too. We can't do it. Okay. See you later. How many people out there leave these just ridiculous comments and they have no clue? But then I think to myself, Rex, have grace, man, because that was you 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I was the guy 20 years ago that would have been putting stuff on there. Oh, man, you talked about something that wasn't Jesus? You're the devil. You are the devil. I can see those horns poking out of your head right now. I can see it. Maybe not that extreme. But anyway, so just to make it clear, I respect everybody's religion. I respect everybody's spiritual preference. If you're non-religious, if you're agnostic, atheist, right on. Awesome. Who are you as a person? Why do you have to label somebody as their religion or not being religious? Or why do you have to label somebody as, oh, that's your job? Oh, what do you do? Well, I do a lot of things. What do you do? Oh, I work at this one company and I make 150 grand a year and I drive a Mercedes Benz. It's really nice. That's what I do. What do you do? Well, there's a lot of things I do. I mean, where do you want me to start? I get up in the morning. Where do you want me to go from there? I help people expand their minds, share information from around the world you're not going to find anywhere else. Fringe data, put it all together, all as entertaining as I can because I'm a conspiracy theorist. All right, everybody, be excellent to each other. Thank you so much for watching. And I'd like to say that you should definitely go to leakproject.com. I've got some Leak Project limited edition tinfoil caps that are going to be here soon that are in the mail. They're 5G shielding. Leakproject.com/shop. Be the change you want to see. No.